In this lab, we are creating a pedometer in order to test how different variables affect the rates of transpiration in a leaf. The pedometers consist of plastic tubing and a pipette that has been filled with water and connected to a ring stand. As transpiration occurs in the leaf, it will absorb water from the pedometer, and the water level in the pipette will drop accordingly. The water that has been absorbed will leave the leaf through pores called stomates. This process is called transpiration. The problem in this lab is, does humidity affect the rate of transpiration? In order to test this variable, we will spray a plastic bag with water and place it over the leaf on one of the pedometers. The materials needed in this lab are 2 pipettes, 2 plastic tubes, 2 equal-sized leaves, 2 ring stands, water that has been colored, a plastic bag, and a spray bottle filled with water. First, we cut 2 equal-sized leaves off a pine tree. Then we set up the pedometer. We attach plastic tubing to a pipette and fill it with water that has been dyed with food coloring so that we can observe it as it moves down the pipette. Then we place 1 leaf in the open side of the tubing and clamp it to the ring stand. We then repeat the same steps in order to create the experimental group. However, we then spray water into a plastic bag and secure it over the leaf in order to test the effects of humidity on the rate of transpiration. Then, every 5 minutes for 35 minutes, we will record the water level in the pedometers. While we wait, we will discuss our hypothesis and our variables. Our hypothesis for our control group is, if we place a leaf in a pedometer, then the water level will decrease because transpiration is occurring. Our hypothesis for our experimental group is, if we expose a leaf to humidity, then it will have a lower rate of transpiration than the control group because when the air is more saturated, it is harder for water to evaporate from the surface of the leaf. Our null hypothesis is that humidity has no effect on the rate of transpiration. The independent variable is the amount of time the plants are transpiring. The dependent variable is how much the amount of water in the pedometer has decreased. The pedometer without the plastic bag will act as our control.
1 eternity later.
We have set up a data table to compare the amount of water in milliliters between both groups for each 5-minute interval. After observing the data, we calculated the control rate to be 0.06 milliliters per minute and the experimental rate to be 0.05 milliliters per minute. Our data supports our hypothesis, and we can conclude that humidity decreases the rate of transpiration in a plant. This is because it is easier for water to evaporate into dry air than into more saturated air. As the relative humidity of the air surrounding the plant rises, the transpiration rate falls.
It's pop time. Why?
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Bobbitt. Ryan sounds like a 2-year-old girl, if any of you wanted to know.
Be productive. Be productive. Don't.
Look at you guys, how smart.